Hey everyone, welcome. Today we're diving into a really powerful tool that's designed to cut right through all that market noise. We're going to break down the Ichimoku Cloud and build a complete intraday trading strategy step by step. So let's jump right in.
If you've ever stared at a short-term chart, you know exactly what I'm talking about, right? You've got conflicting signals, prices whipping all over the place. It's just pure chaos. It feels almost impossible to find a clear direction. But what if there was an indicator that could kind of filter out all that noise and give you a much more complete picture? So here's the game plan for today. First, we're going to tackle that chaos and introduce our all-in-one indicator. Then we'll walk through the exact buy and sell signals step by step, and we'll wrap it all up with smart execution and a final checklist. Basically, we're taking you from total confusion to having a solid strategy you can actually use.
All right, so how do we actually bring some order to all that intraday madness? Well, the answer lies in an indicator that's pretty much a whole system in and of itself. Let's meet the Ichimoku Cloud.
Okay, so its full name is Ichimoku Kinko Hyo, which is a mouthful, I know. It roughly translates to one-look equilibrium chart. And honestly, that's its superpower. It's designed to give you this comprehensive read on the market. We're talking trend, momentum, and key levels, all in a single glance.
Now, I get it. At first glance, this thing can look super complicated. It's got 5 different parts. You have 2 lines, the Tenkan-sen and Kijun-sen, that act kind of like your classic fast and slow-moving averages. Then 2 other lines form that famous cloud, which actually projects future support and resistance. And that last line, the Chikou Span, is all about confirming momentum. Look, don't get bogged down by the Japanese names just yet. What really matters is how they all work together. Okay, before we even think about signals, we need to lock down the number 1 most important rule of this whole strategy. The Ichimoku Cloud is a trend-following system. So the crucial point is we always want to be trading with the main trend. Seriously, trying to fight it is just a recipe for disaster. And this right here is probably the simplest but most powerful part of the cloud. It's simple. Price is trading above the cloud. We're bullish, we're only looking for buys. Price is below the cloud, we're bearish, and we're only looking for sells. And what if the price is stuck inside the cloud? That's our signal to just sit on our hands. It's a no-go zone. It really is that simple. Okay, awesome. Now that we know which way the wind is blowing, let's build out our blueprint for a really solid buy signal. It's a super clear 3-step process. So here are the 3 boxes we need to tick. It's a checklist. First up, we got to confirm that bullish trend. Price has to be above the cloud. Check. Second, we look for that bullish crossover. The faster line has to cross above the slower line. Check. And third, we need that momentum confirmation. The Chikou Span has to be trading freely above the recent price. When all 3 of those line, we've got our buy signal. Now here's what's so cool about this strategy. It's perfectly symmetrical. For our sell signal, we're literally just going to flip every single one of those rules upside down. Let's take a look at the blueprint for a short trade. See? It's the perfect mirror image. Step 1, price has to be below the cloud for a bearish trend. Step 2, we need that bearish crossover, with the fast line crossing below the slow line. And step 3, the Chikou Span has to be below the recent price to confirm that downside momentum. All 3 line up, boom, that's our sell signal. Look, getting a signal is awesome, but that's really only half the battle, right? A real winning strategy needs smart execution. You have to know exactly where you're getting in, where you're cutting your losses if you're wrong, and of course, where you're going to take your profits. Let's build out the trade plan. Protecting your cash is always job number 1, no question. So for a long trade, a really logical spot for your protective stop loss is just underneath that Kijun-sen, the baseline. It tends to act as a nice little floor. For a short trade, you do the exact opposite, placing your stop just above the Kijun-sen. The cloud itself is also a really strong area for your stop. Okay, so the big question, when do you actually take your profit? Well, you've got a few solid options here. You could go for a fixed risk-to-reward ratio, maybe aiming to make 1.5 or 2 times what you're risking. Another great way is to just exit when you see a reverse crossover. That's a sign the trend might be losing steam. Or you can keep it simple and just target the next obvious support or resistance level on your chart. All right, enough with the theory, right? Let's make this real with a quick hypothetical example. Let's imagine we spot a perfect bullish setup on a 15-minute chart. All 3 of our conditions are met. So all our signals line up, we get that confirmation, and bam, we enter the trade right at the open of that next candle. Let's just say our entry price is a nice round 23,500. Okay, next up, our stop loss. We just apply our rule.
We look at that Kijun-sen, the baseline on the chart, and we tuck our stop just below it, say at 23,460. This right here defines exactly how much we're willing to risk on this trade.
And last but not least, where are we aiming? Our profit target. If we're shooting for a simple 1-to-2 risk reward, will we be looking to get out around 23,580? See? A clear plan from A to Z.
Phew, we've definitely covered a lot of ground. So let's pull this all together into one final, super simple checklist that you can use anytime you're looking at a chart. This table right here. This is your cheat sheet. It's the whole strategy in one neat little package. For a buy trade, you're checking. Price over the cloud? Yep. Bullish crossover? Check. Chikou Span above price? Check. Stop goes below the Kijun-sen? Done. And for a sell, every single one of those rules is just the exact opposite. This is your core guide.
All right, you want to take this to the next level? Here are a few pro tips to really boost your accuracy. This strategy tends to work really well on the 5, 15, or 30-minute charts. For an extra layer of safety, always check that your trade is going in the same direction as the trend on a higher time frame, like the 1-hour chart. You could even add an oscillator like the RSI for extra momentum confirmation. And please, remember the golden rule. If the price is just messy and stuck inside that cloud, just stay out. It's not worth it.
So remember where we started with those noisy, chaotic, just plain confusing intraday charts? The Ichimoku Cloud gives us a structured, all-in-one system to find the trend, confirm momentum, and get clear entry and exit points. So really, the final question is for you. Could this be the tool that finally brings some of that clarity and discipline you've been looking for? The only way to find out is to put it to the test.